Opening a bank account in Portugal, geez, is it really that difficult?
We were in there for what? How long?
2 hours?
I think more.
2.5, maybe three?
Hey y'all, this is Halisi.
And this is Rick from our Black Utopia.
What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about opening bank accounts and stuff like that.
Doing life in Portugal and getting a prescription filled, an American prescription filled,
American.
right?
And you're not going to believe the cost.
Right. In order to get our visas, you have to have a Portuguese bank account. That's one of the things. And you also have to have a NIF number. A NIF number is similar to a social security number, but not quite.
It's a tax ID number pretty much.
It is a tax ID number, but those who are citizens have another number as well. So you need a NIF number and you need a bank account. So we went in with our NIF number and a tax return. We had to have proof of our home address. We needed to have proof of our income. What else did we need?
Cost of your house, if you have a house.
We needed to know the value of our house,
yeah.
Right? As well as our driver's license, our passports.
If you were working or retired.
Whether you're working or not, and if so, for whom. If you are retired, what did you used to do?
Yeah.
I think that might be it. So,
how many kids you got? The dog? How many cats?
No, he's not. He didn't know because I was watching the screen, but he did mark down that we had no kids. And so maybe it was we have no dependent kids because obviously we have 5. So, all in all, let's talk about our experience. And to get into the bank, you need to have your ATM card or your debit card.
Yeah.
So if you're a new customer, how does that work?
Well, a guy happened to be nice enough that he saw we were trying to get in and we really couldn't, and he used his ATM card to help us, to let us in.
Yes, obrigada.
Obrigada. Thank you so much to him.
Right? And so we got into the bank and then we're looking around and this was a smaller branch. And interestingly, you cannot really see the tellers who are sitting down, by the way, in separate cubicles from the front door. And so we didn't know what to do, but my smart husband knew what to do.
Well, there happened to be, I started looking for a machine that will give you a number. You know, you walk in the DMV in the USA or any place like that, you usually have somewhere you can pull a number out, you know, so you can have your turn. I turned and I looked for that machine and I saw it. At the same time, the guy that let us in on his card was standing by the machine and he pointed at the machine too to let me know that I was looking in the right direction. So we pulled a number out.
And we waited.
And waited.
And waited for 25 minutes. Yeah. Because they take their time with you. They really do. And so when we got our number called, we sat down with the gentleman. How much English did he speak?
He said he didn't speak English. When you asked him if he knew English, he said no.
So I pulled out Google Translate and the conversation part, and we started going. Eventually, he called over a colleague who happened to have the same name as my husband.
Ricard.
Yeah, they didn't pronounce the O at the end. So Ricardo. And so he helped us get past the initial what paperwork we needed and everything else to verify our address. The person who's helping us told us to show up with a utility bill. I came with my iPad and figured I'd log into our energy company or something if it were necessary because I knew I had our attorney's paperwork for our trust and all this other stuff with us for other reasons. And so thankfully that was sufficient. So they saw the notarized document from our attorney that also listed our home address and that matched our driver's license. So that was sufficient to get the ball rolling. And then my heartbeat slowed down. It's like, as soon as he started inputting our information, I was like, this is gonna happen.
Okay, yeah, it's like, they didn't put us out. So, I mean, other than that, I was expecting them to say, oh, okay, yeah, this isn't good enough.
We do not have to make a return trip.
Not that it wasn't pleasant. It was just time consuming. It just took time.
It took about 2.5, 3 hours. We signed our name probably 10 times.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe even more.
Signature after signature after signature. But, when you're opening something, or you're maybe not an American bank because you're there, but, in a foreign bank, well, yeah, I can understand that.
I don't know what we were signing.
We probably signed away the dog and the kids. And so if they come looking for you guys, fam, hey, we're sorry. But,
Lo siento, we're sorry. I don't know what we were signing. I do know that he showed us how to get online. Our PIN number was given to us right there. Our passcode to get online was given to us right there. So he logged in, he turned it to English, and put in the information. The bank had texted me the passcode, so we put the passcode in. It's very interesting. You don't put the whole passcode, you just put pieces of it here and there, which, good security.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we saw that the money that we had given him in cash was actually in the bank.
Oh, another thing too, if you are opening a bank account and you can have the amount of cash that you want to put in the bank account, it'd probably be great to have it on hand then, because my wife had to go over to around the corner. It wasn't far, it's just around the corner.
In the building, in the same
building, and withdraw money. And I thought maybe she was kidnapped. Then he got up, Fernando, who was helping us. He got up and went over there to check on her, and she came out with like a handful of money and like 20 receipts, because they would only let her pull so much out of the ATM machine, which is understandable. That's anywhere and everywhere you go.
I felt like I was going to get cash out for the strippers or
I was
something.
waiting for her to throw it around, make it rain, baby, make it rain. It was funny, but hey, we got it done.
He's like, that's enough. That's enough. You don't need more money than that in the bank. It was a few $100s, but you know how ATMs go. You can only take out so much at a time. And so the person was waiting behind me, and I kept going like this, sticking it back in, and it kept letting me take out cash. I thought it was going to stop me. So I just kept pulling it out and pulling it out. And finally he's like, that's good. You're good. You're good. This is definitely plenty. So in the end, it took us 3 hours. We have a Portuguese bank account now, and our ATM cards are going to be delivered to the bank because we don't really have an address, and they're not going to mail them to our address in the United States. We don't live there, so that's good. So we'll go back up next week and pick up our cards.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably try and use them too with the PIN numbers that they gave us, just to make sure while we're there that it works.
And we can bank online, so
yes.
We got all that information. And the account, the system online will let it transfer and communicate to you in English. So, you can select whatever language you want to talk to or do your deal with. So.
Absolutely. And the other thing that he showed us, if you need to buy insurance, just click this button right there, online in the bank. So it's a much different system as far as insurance and all of that goes. So speaking of insurance, we're doing life here in Portugal. And so today we did, our errands. We did some banking. And the other thing that we needed to do was get a prescription filled. So you know how the United States works. I tried to get this prescription filled before I left, and because I hadn't gotten to the time where it was going to run out, insurance would not pay for it. I went to see how much it would cost for me to just pay for it, and it was somewhere between $250 and $350 for something that I literally get for zero because it's part of preventative. $250 to $350
in the United States.
In the United States. So I called my doctor. I said, I'm going to need, I can't remember, I think it's an international prescription or something like that. And she said, fine, I've done this before, just let me know what pharmacy. So went around the corner to the local pharmacy, and there were 3 pharmacists on duty. Again, they sit down at a desk behind in a cubicle type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you go and you sit there and you tell them what the deal is, and then they let you know what they have and what they don't have. And so again, she spoke very little English. I would identify her as a Black lady, and I say that because it's much different in every country that you go. But I pulled out my Google Translate again and showed her what I had. And so she started doing some stuff on the computer, and she says, we don't have that exactly, but we have something similar. And she pulled it out and showed me. And I saw that the milligrams were the same. And then I looked up one of the ingredients, and she said, that's the same as the American version. And she told me the name of the medicine. I looked it up, all good. So I sent all of this information to my doctor just to make sure that I'm on the right track and that I'm not taking too much of something. But I didn't need the prescription. She actually went back into the back, grabbed the medicine and brought it back out and said, okay, that will be €8.33. €8.33, which is about $8.50. For something that was going to cost me $250 to $350 in the States. I did not need a prescription because this is not like a narcotic type thing. Mm-hmm. It's just medicine, right? And so I didn't need a prescription. I just needed to tell her what was what, and it cost, as a non-citizen with no insurance, non-resident, right? No insurance, €8.33.
Yeah.
I was doing the happy dance. I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I'm happy. I don't have to stress about it. I have enough to last me now, and it's all good.
Yeah. So a lot of things that you get in the United States as far as prescriptions and stuff like that, they do carry them in other countries, but they're just under a different name. So, and there are websites that you can go to find out the type of prescription you're taking, the type of, the potency of it, or the amount of drugs that are in it or whatever. I can't think of the word right now. I'm having a brain fart. But, and they'll have them, they're just under a different name. And a lot of them are made by the same manufacturers throughout. And they're not costly like they are in the United States.
We will put a link to that website in the description below.
Yeah.
So you can look up, if you have any medication that you have to take on a regular basis, you can look up to make sure that they have it in whatever country you may be considering.
But I always made sure, because there's medications that I take, thyroid medications that I take, and that's the most important because I'll be on it for the rest of my life. And it's always best to check if you are planning just for a vacation, just for a trip, and everybody pretty much gives you that 90-day supply. Fill your supply. Get at least your 90-day. Sometimes you can go to your doctor, because I went to mine and I questioned him about it. And he said, yeah, the insurance companies will pay up to 90 days, but sometimes if you ask for permission, they might give you a 120-day prescription. But you want to have your prescriptions full to the most that you can get when you're traveling, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if your bags are going to get lost. You never know if customs is going to look and see and say, hey, what is this? Because they don't understand what something is. Take your prescriptions. Take all of your paperwork on your prescriptions that you get. And if your doctor's written you prescriptions, take those too.
Yes, and you can get them filled here.
And you can get them filled.
And our copay was $20 to $30. So we were always going to pay $20 to $30 unless it was one of those zero-cost preventative medicines. So welcome to Portugal, y'all. Welcome to Portugal.
If you like this content, please like, subscribe, hit that bell so you know whenever we put out new videos, you will be alerted.
That's right. And as always, we go live every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or Eastern Standard Time. See you then.
See ya.